Hello YouTube, I'm Gabriel Hannes and this is my Archival Research vlog. I picked another topic and this time I had to research it using archival sources, which are just primary sources, and in my case I had to have them from the 1940s or earlier. The topic I chose this time around was immigration, and what led me to this topic was finding my great-grandmother's naturalizations papers from 1943. So, the immigrant's journey just begins in their home country. They get enough money and they get on a boat and they came over here. And surprisingly enough, I found out that most immigrants really hated the boat ride over. I'm guessing all of them got seasick. In all the accounts I read, they all complained about this boat ride. One man said, "Oh, thank the gods, I see the land, I see the land, I knew I was on the safe side now." And that was kind of funny to hear. And surprising as well, like I said. The next part took place when they were at the immigration port, and the process stayed pretty much the same at all of the immigration ports, the largest being Ellis Island. And when they got there, a doctor examined you. If you didn't have any diseases, you were fine. You went on to questioning. At questioning, it was basically like an interrogation in a way. They were trying to find out if you were going to cause harm to the country. So that would be the equivalent of checking if you're a terrorist today in a way. After that, you were sent on your way, they told you where to go. That didn't make you a citizen though. So the living and working conditions of immigrants weren't as bad as they're often portrayed, in my belief. And all the sources I found, people had very good working and living conditions, or decent enough, I'd say. One man got paid $4 an hour just to run a generator for a mining company, and another man opened up his own Bootblack or shoe shine shop and made $700 in 2 years. So they were both pretty well off. The worst account I read was of Sadie Fraun, and she worked in a sweatshop, and lots of times when we hear sweatshops in early 1900s, we think, oh, well, that's terrible. And that really is. But her living conditions weren't that bad. She was paid under, in my opinion, but she had enough money to go out and do things. She had enough money to go buy clothes. She went to theater plays and to the parks. So she wasn't as bad off as I think we often portray it. So lastly, the naturalization papers were pretty much along the lines that you'd think they would be. What's your name? What's your age? Current weight and height? All that stuff. There were a few oddities in the form, however. One of them was, who was the first witness you met in America? And I didn't understand this at first, but I was later told that it's Pratt fraud. Another oddity was my great-grandmother was able to fill out this form entirely from her memory. So a lot of the blanks, they had unknown wrote in them. Country of origin. I don't know. Just unknown. It's weird that the government would allow you to do that. So that's pretty much it for my vlog. I learned a lot of interesting things, and I learned that the living and working conditions weren't as bad as they're portrayed. Not to say that everyone's life was great, or as good as the ones I've described, but it wasn't as bad off as I think it's often portrayed to be. Thanks for watching!